Hi and welcome to Rainey Dewey's Art Spot. If you haven't been here before, welcome aboard, and if you're coming back, a big thank you for that. Today's video is a complete departure from drawing and painting. My life is a creative life, and I do paint and draw a lot, but I do so many other things just trying to make my house my home. And so I decided in the midst of all this snow we're getting here in upstate New York that I needed to make a spring wreath for my front door. I change the wreath with each season, and my door has been empty of a wreath for the past month, and I thought, well, let's just get started and make a wreath for the front door. So my sister and I went to Hobby Lobby, and I'm on a budget. I don't have a ton of cash, so we went to Hobby Lobby, and I was careful with what I purchased. And so the whole thing, the wreath and the floral embellishments and the little nests that I got, plus the ribbon, was all less than $30. If you live in the country and you have grapevines in your backyard, you can go harvest them and wrap them into your own wreath. When I lived out in the countryside, I used to do that myself. The one thing that I would say when you're doing that is you should harvest and weave and wrap them right away. Don't leave them sit, because then they become dry and brittle and very hard to work with. But now that I've moved into the village, I don't have grapevines at my disposal to just run out and get some. So I had to invest in this wreath, and it looks like, I'm looking at the receipt from Hobby Lobby, it looks like it was $5.98. And so I did invest in the wreath. I did have a few things at home that I put on. The Hello Spring is a little wooden embellishment that I've had around, and it was on a wreath in a previous season. And so you'll see I snagged that. And then I had a couple of white ceramic birds that I had hanging around. So I would suggest that you go through your house and see what you have. If you've saved any little things, I mean, it can be pearls and beads. It doesn't have to be little birds and words. It can be almost anything. So scour your house before you go out and spend your cash on it. Anyway, so what I try to do each season is have a wreath for the front door. I actually have several front doors, so I'll probably do a couple of them. And so what I will do, because I'm really cheap, is I try to wire things on rather than glue them, so that at the end of the season, they've been on there for months. A lot of times I'll take them apart, and if I've glued them on, it's a little harder sometimes to get them off. So I did wire a lot of these little sprays of flowers. I wired on the little nests, but I did have to glue the birds in. And then when I put the wreath up and hung it on the wall, there were some little sprays of flowers that were just radical. They were just hanging every which way. So I did have to put a little bit of glue from my glue gun on those to keep control of them. And so I noticed once I got home, I had gotten that ribbon, which I really, really liked, and it's very bright. And I noticed that my sprays of flowers were really just pastel pinks. So I thought, what am I going to do about that? I didn't want to go out and spend more money. So what I ended up doing, and I don't know if you'll see it, I think I did videotape it. I have paints because I'm a painter, and I have acrylics. So I ended up painting some of the flowers that are light pink, so you'll see it brought a little bit more of the brighter oranges and darker pinks into the flowers that are on my wreath. Here I'm just trying to make a bow. I'm not that great at it, but eventually I'll get it. So I took it and I wove it and put a wire on it and pulled it apart so that it looked like a little flower, and then I did wire that on there. I enjoy doing things like this, and it's just nice because you could go buy a wreath, but they're very expensive and they're someone else's designs, and so That's one of the reasons why I like to do a lot of these little things, because it makes my house my own. And so I hung it on the wall to see how it was going. And here I'm pulling out my acrylic paints because I'm gonna paint that little hello spring. I didn't want to. First of all, it didn't match, but I didn't think that I wanted stripes on it for this year, so I pulled out all the variety of colors, and I finally narrowed it down to what would match. And then once I started painting those, the little wooden hello spring, I threw a little bit of paint on the flowers. You'll see that in just a minute. But I absolutely enjoy making these things. The biggest test, honestly, no matter what you're doing, is to slow down and settle into the process and not feel like you have to rush through it all. I mean, I know that we all have busy lives, and a lot of you are working full-time. I'm retired now, but I am working part-time, and so it does give me a little bit more space. But I wish I could have learned how to settle down when I was working full-time. And so that's the one thing I would say. If you decide you're going to do a project like this, try to settle into it, be in the moment with it, enjoy trying this or that. Try putting the flowers on one side, try putting them on both sides, you know, and just try to feel your instincts about what feels right or looks best to you. So here I've hung the wreath on the wall to get a sense of how all of those flower sprays were hanging, and here I'm touching up some of the little pink flowers with the brighter pinkish orange. And I'm not doing them all, I'm just doing a few, so it will pull the whole thing together color-wise. You can see here that I'm testing out some of the sprays to see if I need to glue them, and I did. And the next thing I decided to do was wrap those little bird nests in a little bit of the ribbon fabric, just to create a little more unity in my design. And I tested it out by wrapping it around the whole wreath, and it was too much. And so you try things, you see how they look, and then you accept or reject. And then the hello spring, I did have to glue that. And that little spray of flowers there, I snipped a couple of them off of the big bouquets from the other side, just to give a little hint of flowers on the right side as well as the left. And I love pearls, so I had to buy those. Those I did buy at Hobby Lobby. And so there you have it, a wreath for the door. I'm going to take it outside and see how it looks. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It would really help me out a lot, and have a blessed rest of your day.